Our ministry of the word today is a reading from Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, and then 5 and 6. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Then you shall see and be radiant. Your heart shall thrill and rejoice, because the abundance of the sea shall be brought to you. The wealth of the nations shall come to you. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephraim. All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. Here ends the reading.
Friends, this time of Christmas, during the 12 days, it's customary in churches to have a time of revels, which means a time of fun and gathering and fellowship, a sense of community, a sense of delight, not only in one another, but in God especially. So this day, for our revels, I hope that all of us will come to the fellowship hall and enjoy breakfast together, and we have some Christmas games to share with one another, with prizes and good things, not only to eat, but to play. So I hope that we're all together. But in that spirit of revels and Christmas fellowship, today is a story day. Today we're going to hear the story of Hosmakaka, the camel. If any of the children or any of the older children would like to come and sit on the floor for the story, you're welcome to do so. If you're comfortable where you are, that is good. But let us take this time to settle in and prepare to hear the story of the camel. Hosmakaka, the old camel, was asleep in the desert night. He dreamed of all the water in the sea, and he dreamed of a hump that would hold an entire sea. Hearing voices, Hosmakaka opened an eye. Hosmakaka, Hosmakaka. Reluctantly, Hosmakaka opened the other eye. Why should I wake up? He grumbled. The sand whirled up into the moonlit sky. You have been chosen, the voices whispered. The sand seemed to shift again. You will carry gifts to a baby king. Who are you? Hosmakaka wanted to know, for he was an old camel and felt he had earned his sleep. You will carry frankincense, myrrh, and gold. The wise men have chosen you. Hosmakaka got up very slowly. Why me? If these men are so wise, don't they know about my joints, my gout, my sciatica? What did you say I am to carry? How much will it weigh? Besides, I have other commitments. There's a water drinking competition in Bengal. Then I really must go to the cud chewing convention in Bimish. The sand blew furiously, cutting into the black night. Hosmakaka was startled and decided he had better do as the voices said. Who knew what made the sand move like creatures with great wings? When do I start? He asked cautiously. Today. Start today. With that, the sand voices disappeared, and it was morning. It was still early as the servants of the wise men placed the precious gifts onto Hosmakaka's back. The young camels ran to their good friend. They all looked up to him because he was old, and they thought him wise. You must be a very special camel, they sighed. I am very special. Hosmakaka puffed out his chest in pride and then said something a little foolish. I'm not so old. I'm still as strong as 10 horses, and I've been chosen to carry rich gifts to the baby king. Can we come too? Asked the youngest camel, who never wanted to be left behind. Aren't we your friends? You can walk beside me, Hosmakaka replied in his most regal voice, and the long journey began. At noon, a herd of mountain goats came into view. Hosmakaka thought that they had come a long way from their mountain home. What is it you want? Hosmakaka called out. We have heard tell of a new king who is to be born. Please, take our humble gift with you. It's milk for the king. You want me to carry milk? I am not a milk-bearing camel. I am not ordinary like you. The young camels chorused, no, he is not ordinary. They looked up to him with their big brown eyes. He's strong. Why, he's as strong as 10 horses. Hosmakaka muttered to himself, oh, my joints, my gout, my sciatica. But aloud he said grandly, give me your gift. At 1 o'clock he stopped by a family of millers. Look, said the youngest camel, they're carrying bags of corn. Do you suppose they're for the new king? They will have to carry it themselves. They can follow that star like the rest of us. The young camels crowded around Hosmakaka eagerly. But you are strong. You're as strong as 10 horses. Hosmakaka felt weary just looking at the bags. But he said to the millers, give me your heavy bags. I'll carry them. At 2 o'clock the next day, young ladies gave Hosmakaka their fine silks. At least the cloth won't weigh anything. At 3 o'clock, an old man in fine clothes gave him 2 rare birds in cages. At 4 o'clock, some merchants gave him pillars of cedar that came all the way from Lebanon. At 5 o'clock, a group of bakers gave him their finest sweet meats and pastries. At 6 o'clock, the sun finally went down, and the crowds melted into the coming night. Hosmakaka gratefully sank into the sand. In the kind darkness, he didn't have to pretend he was so strong. Hosmakaka became aware that it didn't seem as dark as usual. He looked up and saw the splendor of the skies and the special brightness of the star he had been following. He fell asleep, wondering about the sand voices and the wings he had thought he could almost see. But as the sun rose over the desert hills, it was hard to remember the wonder of that star, for his thoughts turned to his aches and his pains and his burdens. I don't think I will make it. I can't carry any more. My legs are getting weaker. My gout, my sciatica, my joints. I'm too loaded down. Word of the caravan had spread like sand, and before a desert wind could blow, all the people lined the route, holding up their gifts for Hosmakaka to take to the baby king. There were jars full of honey and baskets of money. There were jewels and beads and large rolls of leather. And last but not least, there were 20 gallons of wine. Hosmakaka moaned to himself, well, this will bring me to ruin, this fruit of the vine. But then the youngest camel cried out, look, there, it's Bethlehem. You've made it. You are as strong as 10 horses. Hosmakaka knew that he could just do it if he did not stop. Until he arrived at the spot underneath the star. He knew he could do it. He knew he could do it. Just then, out of the growing darkness, a small voice said, I have a gift for the baby. Hosmakaka looked down on a tiny little child. Please, child, no more gifts. It has no weight. It's long and light. It's for the king who is born this night. It's little, the child added. Too much. Too little is too much. And the young camel said, but you're as strong as 10 horses. Well, yes, I am, but my joints, my gout. And then Hosmakaka looked into the child's eyes, and his heart melted. Child, give it to me, this smaller than small gift. What harm can it do? It's for his bed. It's all that I have. No problem at all, Hosmakaka said bravely, if not foolishly. At all this time, Hosmakaka had kept walking because he knew if he stopped, he could not start again. Now he could see that the stars shone down on a lowly stable. Child, do it now. Place your straw upon my back as I approach the new king. Hosmakaka entered the stable. My knees are loosening. My legs, they wobble. My back is breaking. This last straw has caused me to fall. And with that, Hosmakaka fell to his knees. Oh my, he thought, this is no way for a camel to behave. They will say that Hosmakaka is weak and old, that he is vain and proud, that he should not have traveled this far. Then wise men noticed Hosmakaka. Quickly, they knelt too. Oh, they're mocking me now. Falling on their knees, heads bent over like gnarled old trees. And then, from the humble manger, a tiny hand reached out and touched Hosmakaka. His pain seemed to disappear. He could no longer feel his burden. And Hosmakaka whispered to the baby, Hosanna from Hosmakaka. Accept these gifts kindly. They come from far and wide, brought by a beast who once acted blindly. From that time on, there was no burden too great, no gift too small. The end. And may God raise you up on eagle's wings and bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of God's hand forever. The people say, Amen.